Welcome, everyone, to another real film movie review.
Real Film Reviews podcast.
Hey, it's been a while.
It has been a while.
It's been a bit. And with the holidays and everything, if I don't remember the title just enough.
So we're today going to talk about one of the best movies from 1985. Since 2025 is almost over.
Yeah, we plan on talking about this movie in July. Yeah, like July 4th, I think. It was like just the start of July when we were talking about it, but stuff happened.
Life, man. Life sucks. But so we're talking about Back to the Future, probably one of the best movies to come out of the 80s.
You know, it's real weird when we were watching this. It made me realize that I have so much more memories of the second one. And this one, I thought I've seen it before, but I've only seen really the tail end. The tail end is like the main thing I remember seeing out of this movie. Like at the prom and everything. And there's a little few scenes there, but it was sprinkled in enough to where I go back and be like, oh yeah, the second movie. That happens in the second movie, and it's like, oh, okay. So it was kind of refreshing to rewatch this. I know for sure I have not seen the first 15 to 20 minutes of it. Like for sure. Everything else was maybe in small little chunks, and then always the tail end I would catch.
This movie was my childhood. Oh my God. Marty McFly was one of the coolest characters ever. Michael J. Fox.
He kind of reminds me of the same thing of I'm gonna mess up the title. Is His Day Off? What was his name? That was the movie.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Yeah. Like it kind of had that same feel, like coming of age film. The movie's great too. But anyway, we were talking about Back to the Future, Part 1, but technically it didn't have a Part 1 in it, if I remember right. Even though it says trilogy.
No, it's just Back to the Future. That's that's all the movies.
Oh, okay.
On Blu-ray. Back to the Future Part 2 and Back to the Future Part 3. So let's get into these notes. So this movie was written and directed by Robert Zemeckis. Also, Bob Gale helped him write it. And produced by Neil Canton and Bob Gale. Starring everyone's favorite... I was going to do a Parkinson's joke, but
it's already out there now. You might as well say it. What are you going to do?
No, I was trying to, but I was gonna, but I couldn't think of anything.
You couldn't, and you stuttered. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
You're the asshole, not me.
What else is new? Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, Leah Thompson, everyone's favorite weirdo, Crispin Glover, and Thomas F. Wilson.
You know, speaking about the Tourette's thing real quick, because it just recurred to me, but I remember when we were watching this, I think I asked you, when did he start showing signs of it? And you said it was Frighteners, but I think it was a little bit earlier. After Frighteners it started to happen.
Frighteners was in 96, but he was showing signs before, but he was keeping them.
It seemed like 90...
Not Tourette's, it was Parkinson's.
Parkinson's?
Yeah.
Okay.
Two completely different things.
Completely different things. It'd be really weird if you had both. Yeah, we seem like dumbasses. Big surprise. Yeah, so I was noticing, I remember I looked up, and I think it was around like 1997. I don't have my dates right here, but it was like 6, 7, or 8. It was roughly, he started doing like a charity for that. I think he came out that he was experiencing this issue.
He kept it hidden for a little while because he wanted to work, but
I had it at one of the Comic-Cons we had close by. I had a chance to go and I could have met him, but the price is expensive. It's that and John Cena, and both those people were making bank.
Oh, yeah, especially that time.
Oh, man.
But cinematography, of course, by the great Dean Cundey, who worked on a lot of great movies that we know today, especially two of them that I can think right off the top of my head is Halloween, which we have a video of, and Jurassic Park, which hopefully one day I would really like to talk about Jurassic Park.
Yeah, you can get me down a whole rabbit hole on that, how obsessed I became with dinos.
Yeah. That movie made dinos cool.
It did. It really did change.
They had a couple other things before it, but It was Jurassic Park.
Tammy and the T-Rex.
I've never seen Tammy and the
That's
T-Rex,
a-
but I
that's
know
a-
I know of its existence.
That is a movie.
The movie was edited by Arthur Schmidt and Harry Kermadinas, and music by Alvin Silvestri. He's another one of them popular movie composers. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if I've said it before in other video, but I'm not going back to look because I hate the sound of my voice. Like I've said before, also, but
You don't want to rewatch this video and see how much of a dumbasses we sounded like?
no, I'm not worried about y'all. Y'all sound fine. It's me. I don't like me.
Well, go ahead. How much does this movie make at the box office? How much was it to make? And how much did they make?
The budget was about $19 million.
That's a lot.
The box office was $388.8 million.
I guess we'll have to wait till part 2, but I'm really curious on how much they spent, as well as how much did they get back on that? Because it had to like double in price from that.
So the premise, set in 1985, the movie follows a teenager accidentally sent back to 1955 in a time-traveling DeLorean automobile built by an eccentric scientist friend, where he inadvertently prevents his future parents from falling in love, threatening his own existence, and is forced to reconcile them and somehow get back to the future. TM.
TM.
But yeah, Bob Gale, he got the idea of the movie when he was looking through a yearbook of his dad's when he was in high school.
Wondering what it would have been like to hang out with his
and what
dad.
would have been like to hang out with him, because I think him and his mom, I think, were like they vote like most popular or something like that. It was one of those. I think it was both of them, but I know for sure his father was one. I don't remember which one, but he thought it'd be cool, if he to find out what it'd be like to meet his father, be friends with him. So he started writing it, and
I should find out your dad's just like an ass or something. It's like
Yeah.
maybe I should have just waited.
But here's another thing that I like to mention all the time. In 2007, the Library of Congress picked it for preservation for the film registry. I think the film registry is very important. There's a lot of good movies in there that people want to keep, preserved. They were so popular.
Is that because they don't want people to remake it, or you just mean like put this up as a? I get what you mean.
Yeah. I just think that's really cool. Your movie gets picked for something like
this
super
feels
popular.
like a movie that like is not going to be remade until like people have died.
Actually, I don't think I wrote that down. I was probably going to talk about something like that towards the end, but I can say it now real quick.
Go ahead.
That I think also it has it's the same thing as Steven Spielberg is with Jaws. Is that Robert Zemeckis and Bob Gale, as long as they live, do not want a remake.
I mean, what's funny about they don't want a remake to this. I was going to say what's funny about the Jaws thing is so many people have redone it. They just haven't named it Jaws.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you get shows like Megalodon.
But
now, did they have any weird names they wanted to name this movie before Back to the Future?
Hold on, I think I may have wrote
because this feels like a movie. This feels like a movie that definitely had its almost this name, and then it's like someone spoke up at a board meeting. It's like that's terrible.
You know what's crazy is that I did not write it down, but
you with all your notes.
Yeah, my notes they come out as a lot, but besides the explaining, behind the scenes stuff, all the notes are basically to keep me on track of certain things that I want to talk about with the movie. Sometimes it's a little more, but that stuff I don't talk about. It's to keep me focused, but sometimes I do lose track because I'm not human. But the movie was originally called something else. I think it had something to do with Doc Brown's name.
Only thing I could see on there is Power of Love when I glance at your notes. It's the top paragraph.
But So,
Well, let's go ahead and get into the movie.
yeah,
though,
yeah. I think I have a couple
I
other
think-
extra things at the
But
end.
you could just sprinkle it in as
but,
it comes. But let's go ahead and start off the movie. Like I said, the beginning part of him playing the guitar, I don't know why. I just default thought it was like part 2, even though it's like, I think I understood that was the first movie, but I felt like kind of like I was thinking everything that was in part 2. I thought I've seen I thought I've seen the first part so much, and it's like, oh no, really, I've just seen 2 the most out of all of them. Which maybe that one had the most replay value out of them. I don't know. I'm kind of curious on wit for anybody who's seen out of all 3 movies who's seen the most. I feel like for me, it goes 2 is the most, 3, and then the first one. Because the first one, when we watched it at your house, that was the first time I've seen the whole thing, and kind of surprising why. I'm realizing more as we do this. I might have said it before, but every time I would go to watch these movies, it's like I've only seen a chunk, and it was only the really, really memorable parts. It's like I won't remember the beginning or something.
But
he's playing guitar. I don't remember what kind of guitar he is, and I know
yeah, it's a weird looking one.
It wasn't a Stratocaster.
I think so, but it's weird is that it's yellow. I don't have a problem with the color. I like the color of it, but most of the bodies for guitars are kind of like big that I'm used to. Not real big, but kind of bigger than it should. But this one was like almost like this, like that wide it seemed.
It's been a bit because, like I said, we saw it in July, so it's like not fresh.
But I also noticed something real quick though is that when it's scanning his place that he's staying, and he has all the stuff, to feed the dog and everything. There is something to do with the clock tower.
Yeah, they showed something like that.
Yeah, I want to say it was a little character hanging off of it or something, like foreshadowing, which is weird because I could have sworn I wrote this. Yeah, I did. One clock has a man hanging from the arm of it, just like in the movie, which I didn't notice it until this watch. That's why I wrote it down. I never noticed that literally until this time. But the Marty, he goes in to play the guitar and he's sitting there cranking.
Was he at Doc's house when he was doing this?
Yes, it was in his garage too. Because I think he's staying in his garage because of something that happened in their timeline. Like a little bit further back, not in the timeline that Marty goes back and changes, things like meeting Doc and his parents. It's that time, this original timeline that they're going on. Something happened with him back in the day. I don't remember what it was.
I know.
But yeah, he lives next to a Burger King.
Yeah, and the Burger King, that building was like built in a Burger King parking lot.
Yeah,
and it's just
so he plugs in that guitar, and I don't play guitar. I play bass, but I really like the idea of that big speaker. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't think I would have turned it up that loud. I gotta understand what he really wanted.
Someone who does play guitar, I wouldn't have hit all strings either.
Yeah,
I would have maybe a solo. I don't know. He hit a power chord, I think, and it's supposed to be. It blew him back because power chord, and it's like, oh, okay. And
he gets up and he's all.
He's like, I gotta go. It's like, what was it? It was something like
all the clock. He has a bunch of clocks in there, and they all go off at
I know
at 8 o'clock, and he's talking to Doc on the phone. He's like, "Are those all the clocks?" Yeah. He goes, "My experiment worked. They're all set precisely 25 minutes slow." And he goes, "So Doc, are you mean to telling me that it's 8:25 precisely, Marty?" Damn, I'm late for school. I just like the way he said, "Damn," and he gets Power of Love. That's why I had it written there.
I know that whole scene is kind of like you're obviously letting you hear the whole music, and it's that whole slice of life thing. Maybe that's why I like those movies. It's always nice to see that in current movies when they do that kind of music going to someplace. But like, yeah, I know he gets to school. And my memory is hazy on some of this.
He meets Jen, his girlfriend, and he's trying to get to class, but Strickland, the principal,
Yeah,
finds
that's
him.
right. It's one of those like I'm blurry up to the point where he goes to Doc's house. That whole like when it like it's like he goes there
When he goes in the 50s.
yeah, because I know he goes back in time wearing the suit and stuff. So you may have to like direct us to there because again that part is very blurry. Because I think through that part of the movie I was like I've never seen this part like Power of Love. I know.
Power of love is a curious thing. I know we just passed it, got to school, which is fine, but I love the scene of him just hitching on the back of vehicles.
Oh yeah, that was
just
cool.
to get to school. That was neat. I like that. We wouldn't be able to do that today.
You could. You just get in trouble.
Yeah.
And probably die because those cars were maybe going like 15 miles an hour.
Yeah. So
you try to do that in a car going 50, just.
So he gets to school and he sees Jen and meets the principal. The principal's telling him that he's a slacker. He tells everyone he's a slacker. That's his favorite word. Just like Great Scott is Doc Brown's favorite word. But he tells Marty, like, your band is, in the battle of the bands, like, you might as well quit. No McFly's amounting to anything.
That's right. Yeah. And then eventually he goes home and we see kind of what his living condition is. And his I know like he's having to deal with like his dad getting bullied because of like it's Biff, right? Or it's Biff. Yeah, it's Biff is like in charge of like where he works and stuff. And I've heard this, and ironically, it's basically I heard this from the Red Letter Media part of the review, which I'll just fucking say it because someone would point it out. But there's apparently a scene where when they like he comes back and he's like he makes his dad like buy a bunch of cookies. And that's why he's eating cookies at the dinner table.
No, okay.
It's something like that.
We're gonna get to that. Just real quick though. Just real quick back to the school when he plays in his band, the Pinheads, and they're playing a little bit harder version of Power of Love, just like we heard in the movie. And they have the three judges. They have the lady on one side, dude on the other, and then the dude in the middle. The dude in the middle looks at both of them. And then stands up and just tells them, I'm afraid you're just too darn loud. That guy is Huey Lewis that sings Power of Love.
Yeah, I feel like you pointed that out.
Yeah. So I just felt like it's like a rocker telling someone in a movie like you're just too loud.
Yeah.
Kind of like
like if Ozzy told you that.
Yeah. Or,
like your guitar has too much distortion.
Like another example of someone making fun of like rock music who's a rocker is Meatloaf in Pick a Destiny.
Yeah, like that movie. We got to review that one.
Oh my God. You disobeyed my orders, son. Why were you ever born? Your brother's 10 times better than you. Jesus loves him more. I like that when they do that. It's a trick. But so Marty, he meets his girl and they outside the clock tower, and that's how he gets her number, which comes available. That packet comes available later.
You get a view of what the clock tower looks like now before you get to see it later. But earlier, I guess.
You were talking about that scene with the cookies?
Yeah, because it's been so long. There's like key points of the movie that like them.
So he comes in, the car's wrecked because of Biff.
That's right.
And he picks on Biff. He's like, "Oh, McFly, your shoe's untied." He's like, he flicks his nose. "Don't be so gullible, McFly." And he's such a little bitch. But he tells Marty, "What are you looking at, butthead?"
Yeah.
They get to the dinner, okay? And it shows
he's eating cookies or something.
Okay, I'm gonna get to that because I didn't know if you mentioned that, but I always wanted to know. Like he pours it in a bowl, and I'm thinking you pour something in a bowl like that,
you're thinking
it's
milk.
Cereal.
Yeah, cereal.
Okay, and I'm like, what kind of cereal is that? Years later, I didn't decide to actually read the box. It's peanut brittle.
Yeah, it's peanut brittle.
Because there's a deleted scene, because everyone picks on George because he's so easy. This Girl Scout goes to George's house earlier with the dad, and the dad basically bullies him
into buying it
all. That's hilarious. I wish they would have left
yeah,
it.
well, it would have definitely added more to the fact that this guy's just a pushover. Like everybody can just get what they want.
So yeah, he's eating.
And the mom is like an alcoholic, if I remember right. Like she's like drinking like heavy and stuff.
Supposedly her brother's supposed to be getting out of jail, but he doesn't, which that'll come into play in a bit. But they're just watching the TVs, and the brother goes, all you need is something. And then the dad starts laughing. They're watching The Honeymooners, I think, the old show. And George does that. It's like every noise he makes a laugh, his face changes a different shape. And then like he pats his son like, and then his son turns and almost does the same thing. And Jennifer calls his girlfriend, and his mom gets like, why would girls chase boys and all this? And it's like, that comes into play later. But
well, yeah, given how his mom is, it's like, oh.
And she tells the story about how they met and everything. She's like, it was the night of that terrible thunderstorm, huh, George? You turn to George, he don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, how did they even meet? You know, how did they have 3 kids?
Well, we get to know like a more better story at the end of this. On the least,
yeah,
you know,
oh my god, a lot of things that like you see like
now
wondering how they would have played out.
Now I'm remembering why he ended up going back in time, because I feel like I'm skipping ahead, but just to kind of help speed a bit, I know Doc he just started to crack the code, and he wanted to meet him in the parking lot.
Yeah, the Twin Pines Mall.
I was going to say Twins Pine Mall, and I know like when he comes back, it's different. It's a different name.
Lone Pine Mall.
Long Pine,
which is I find that funny.
Yeah,
we'll get to that in a second. But there's something I want to mention about
but
that.
It's like I know
Doc wants him to meet him. At
because I was trying to remember like why did he go back in time again? But the whole thing is Doc goes. Then he comes back and then gets shot. And I was like, oh, this is... Because again, I thought, that's in part 2. And I was like, oh, this is in part 1. And it really makes me wonder if I wasn't a kid, if there wasn't a, like, here's 1, 2, and 3, like in a movie setting, and I watched a bit when it did something, came back and thought, oh, this is part 2. I wonder if I didn't think that. Or like this is still part 1, but it's like actually the second movie.
So he wants Marty to record him with his recorder, and he finds his dog Einstein, which the dog was supposed to be named something else. There is
I think originally they were going to have a monkey.
Yes,
instead of
which is cool, but I think a dog would have worked.
A monkey would have
throwing his shit everywhere.
Well, the fact of like just if I had to be a director, it's so much. If I'm getting a dog to chill is a little easier.
Did you hear that story about the monkey at the zoo threw his poo at an old man?
I mean, that could be any zoo.
Yeah, they had to take the guy to the hospital for 3rd-degree burns. No, don't go. Sit down. Oh, he really left. Oh, my jokes are bad. So anyway, this is the Eric show now. So now we went. What are we talking?
Can't believe he does this.
Kind of wonder where he is coming back or not. I knew he was good. Oh, doggy. Hi. You want to talk about the movie too? Have you seen Back to the Future? Just a second.
You make that shit again. Be fucking.
I feel bad now.
You should be fucking ashamed of yourself.
So he's going over everything, and he shows him the car, the DeLorean, which
I can't get over how stupid that fucking joke was. All right, we'll move on. DeLorean. Doc didn't get shot. He died because how stupid your fucking joke was. And Marty's like, I gotta go back in time to stop Eric from fucking saying that.
Oh,
I go back 30 seconds, 40 seconds. I'd literally slap the shit out of you.
There's a docu-series on Netflix called The Movies That Made Us. It's got it only has 3 seasons, 16 episodes, but I watched the one with Back to the Future, and because I remember hearing somewheres that they wanted to use something else as the time machine. it was supposed to be a big refrigerator. But they didn't want people to climb in the refrigerator and get stuck if they did.
It was probably better just as a car.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody drives a car. Cars go fast, and that that car alone probably, I'm curious how much that car goes for nowadays if you could find one.
Jim Varney had one. Ernest.
Man,
not in the movie, but Jim Varney himself owned
he owned one. I mean, if you like the movie, you got the money. And plus, back then, it was probably a lot easier to come by compared to now.
You know what? I think in the early to late 2000s, when I was looking up a vehicle that I wanted, I randomly looked up a DeLorean. And the one that was on there, I don't remember what I looked it up on. I really can't for the life of me think, but I do remember that it was $11,000.
Probably back then it wasn't too bad, but like now it just
there are newer models of it in the early 2020s. I don't know, it was 21 or 22, something like that. But they have lights. Like, you got the little orange blinker lights on each side of your headlight. It kind of wraps around the side of the car and it goes up the side of the door. Like on the inside. I don't know. Maybe I'm just imagining this, but it was red.
You sure you just didn't see a bad concept art?
No, it was a video.
I feel like they discontinued that.
Yeah, but I think it was a special thing. I think. Like I said, I didn't look all into it. I saw this real quick and then on a Facebook reel or something, and then that was it. I never saw it again.
Well, but anyway, to continue the movie. So, Doc, what were the guys chasing him for?
He stole plutonium because it runs on plutonium.
Yeah.
So he shows Marty how it works. He puts the dog in there and sends him
back
a minute.
Yeah.
Because he showed him the watch and they're synced up at the exact same time, and then he sends them and comes back and the dog is 1 minute behind. But whenever he tells they're setting up, the car backs up and Doc says my favorite line in the movie. And he says, according if my calculations are correct, once this baby reaches 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious shit. And Marty's just sitting there recording. And I love the effect of like when it goes and it gets to there and it disappears, but it leaves that fire trail.
Oh yeah, the fire
That's cool.
Great.
However, as cool as the effects are in this movie, when those tire treads run between Marty and Doc, they're like standing on it, but they're superimposed in. It looks like shit. That is probably the worst effect in the movie, and it's not that bad, but it's.
I mean, it's going to go by fast enough. People are so entranced with the movie.
Yeah. Well, especially watching it, I guess now more HD related.
When Marty transported back, he was wearing the suit, right?
Yeah.
And he came out like the Martian. I know, like, he hits his head. Apparently, that wasn't in the script. But they're like, just roll with it. Because he hits it, it's like, oh, but it's like, let's just use it. If it was too. It's funny how when you hurt yourself, it's almost like that's more natural. Just go with it because you're going to react more natural if you get hurt.
The reason why everything happened is because after he did the thing, Doc was planning on going back to 1955. No, he puts the date in. He's supposed to go to the future, but he puts November 5th, 1955. That's what makes time travel possible. The flux capacitor, that's when he came up with the idea because he hit his head. He tells Marty the story, and he tells them, the car runs on plutonium, and he stole it from the Libyans. I think that's what they call them. Mm-hmm. He traded them. He was supposed to make them a bomb, but he just made something encased with like old pinball machine parts. And I guess they find out.
Well, because he probably thought, I'm leaving.
Yeah.
They don't know what I'm going to use this for.
Oh, man. And then they shoot him, which, like, I was like, no. Like, oh, that sucks. And then Marty finally jumps in the car. He drives around. He doesn't realize that he's going to be doing it. And then he goes, and meets the thing. Not meets the thing. He gets back there, and they think that he's an alien. And he gets in the car and drives away. And the old man goes, "You mutated son of a bitch!" That's the way he says it too. And he gets away and he drives.
Through driving the Doc's house. Yeah, he drove through the trees.
Yeah, he knocks one tree down because there's two trees. He knocks one down. So for some reason he couldn't plant another tree and still call it Twin Pines.
That tree back up and plant it.
But you space bastard! He drives off and he hides the car because it runs out of power because it runs on plutonium. He didn't pack any with him, so he hides it and makes his way into town, which is a cool shot.
Yeah. I know he goes to town, but eventually he ends up going to Doc's place.
Yeah. No, first he meets his father.
That's right. See, I thought he only met his father. I thought he met his father after when he goes to the bar.
Hold on.
Like, I thought he met the Doc, and the Doc was like basically telling him like to kind of go through. He's been again.
No, it's when he gets there, he's looking around, which like I said, like I really like the look they did of this little. What's it called? This spot in the town.
The plaza, like studio, park kind of area, Central Park area.
I like the 50s look, and Marty discovers that he's in 1955.
Yeah.
Because, Doc put it in the thing, but he was killed before he could fix it. So he didn't realize that he was going to be time traveling. And they already loaded a pellet of that plutonium. But he gets into that shop, and he wants to use a phone to look up Doc's address, the phone book. A phone book is something that we used to use back in the day, which they still make them, and I don't know why, because a lot of people.
It's mainly just like the yellow pages like that then now.
Oh, okay. Because I haven't seen.
I think it's mostly just businesses.
I like how too when he's trying to call Doc's number, and his watch goes off, and he tries to hide it from the guy, and he goes up and he was telling the owner of the cafe like the drinks that he wants. He goes, "Give me a tab." He's like, "Tab? You got to pay for something. You got to get something in order to pay it." He's like, "Give me a Pepsi free. If you want Pepsi, you have to pay for it. Just give me something with no sugar." And then he realizes, he's just sitting there.
That was Pepsi. Crystal Pepsi, I think, was in this movie. It was a special type of Pepsi, right?
It was Pepsi free. I don't think they call it anymore. I think it's like a Diet Pepsi.
I watched a man drink that, if I remember right. If I'm thinking of the same one, he drank it and threw up. It's on YouTube.
I hate vomit.
I think it was called LA Beast.
Oh, every time I'm scrolling through TikTok or Facebook, and I see that dude, when he pops up, I immediately scroll. I can't stand watching people.
He watched some rough. He's eating some rough.
Like, why do you do that to yourself?
Money. He makes a lot.
I've thrown up, not recently, but
when you I never got paid if you threw up.
Kind of.
You get paid. Someone's like, "Here's 10,000." Yeah, dude, that dude's got to make some money on that because he's been around for a while.
I've seen him. Just like do whatever he does, he'll go like he's cheering, and then
definitely peaking the audio there.
I hate vomit. Like I can't. I don't want to talk about it. But
so I know at some point
because he's sitting there, and Biff comes in, a younger Biff, and he goes, "Hey, McFly," and then he turns, and then the guy sitting next to him turns. He goes, "I thought I told you not to come in here." And then Marty thinks he's talking to him, but when he turns to see the person he's talking to, he realizes he's talking to his dad. And now, oh man, Biff was such a fucking asshole.
Now this is skipping ahead a bit, but he goes to school to try to help them, right, get in love.
Yeah, because later on he finds.
And his mom is actually hitting on his son. Yeah. And it's there's the whole fate of the picture.
There's something about that, but it basically mirrors the same conversation that he had with Biff earlier.
Yeah, whenever he pushover,
he's doing he's in school. He was talking about copying his homework and everything. But in the 85, it was his work because they work at the same place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, "Don't give me on this day. I like to sleep in." And he's like, "Oh, by the way, your shoe's untied." Instead of flipping his nose, he fucking slaps him across the face. I was like, "Oh, man." And, he goes, and Marty's just staring. And George is
he's so
he's sitting there going, "What?" He's such an overact. I like Crispin Glover. But he was
okay. Didn't you say a lot of people had problems with him in the movie?
Yes, it was also in that documentary.
Because that goes into him overacting. We might as well talk about that right now because he was overacting all over the top, and he didn't like that Marty got the happy ending.
Yeah, he got the eternal reward, which is at the end of what happens, and people basically telling the guy like, "Man, this is just a comedy movie," and apparently too, like there are scenes where. Okay, so if you're filming a movie, you don't ever see the ground unless you have to walk and do something. But usually in most shots, kind of like us right here, a static shot, you don't see our feet. If we were in a movie and they'd be showing this, there'd be a mark on the floor where the actors stand and have to do their stuff. Crispin Glover would never stand still. He would always walk back and forth. And they got mad at him and they kept trying to explain to him to sit. To stand right in your spot, and he overthought the character. Like I said, I like Crispin Glover, but the dude is a weirdo. Apparently, he either kicked or almost kicked David Letterman in the face in the late '80s, early '90s when he went on the talk show. He was doing some stupid little dance, and he kicked his foot up and almost kicked David Letterman in the face. I've never seen the video. I've just
have to check
seen
that
people
out
talk about it.
We'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
I'm curious.
But Marty's staring at him. He's like, "You're George McFly." He's like, "Yeah, who are you?" And then that guy comes up, little Goldie Wilson. He's like telling him, "Don't worry about him."
Be like mayor and stuff, if I remember right.
Played by Donald Fullilove. I think that's his name. I met him at a convention, I think in 2017 in Shreveport, Louisiana. And he was the nicest dude. I had a picture of me shaking his hand like he was Mayor Goldie Wilson because, of course, he becomes mayor. And he says right now, he's like, "You're going to be mayor." He's like, "A colored mayor. That'll be the day." But I have a picture of him standing next to Crispin Glover in that scene where he was Goldie and Crispin was George. And I got him to sign it. Vote for Goldie. And I had a picture of me and him shaking his hand. I lost that photo because like 2 days after that, something happened to my phone, and I lost all the pictures that I had. And it sucked because like I'd like to meet that guy again. I even got a little pin
that said it.
that said "Vote for Goldie." It's on one of my guitars. Thought it was cool, so I got that. But Marty tells him about the being mayor, and he's all happy. And then George ends up leaving, and he's running out the thing. He's like, "Hey, George, you on the bike." And then he follows him, but he finds his bike, and he's looking around, and he's up in the tree with binoculars spying on Lorraine.
See, I don't remember any of those.
Yeah, he's up there, and Marty's like,
"Can I just let you talk to her?"
No, that's fine. You can say anything you want.
Well, it's like I'm trying to remember the scenes, and it's like it's been again.
And he goes, "He's a peeping Tom," and then he slips out of the tree.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
And he was about to get hit by the car, but Marty pushes him out of the way.
Marty's the one that gets hit and gets invited, and that's where
every time I see that scene when Michael goes back, it's the shot of him going, and then it cuts to him like a flat shot, and it shows him laying down. I always think it looks like his head bounces off the cement every time. I know that sometimes they try to be careful in movies, but every time I watch that movie, I see that scene, and I always get a little pain back here.
Like I know he gets hit, and I was like, then the mom gets all infatuated with him.
Yeah,
and I was like, ooh,
So Marty's wakes up, and he thinks he's talking to his mom. Well, anyway. She's like, "You hit your head. You've been out for like 9 hours." And he goes, "I just had the weirdest dream. I had a dream I went back in time." And she's like, "Well, everything's okay. You're safe now," which this joke literally does all the movies.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them another day, but this one, she's like, "Well, you're safe back in good old 1955. And he wakes up, 1955. He turns on the light, and there's his mom, like 17, 18 years old. and she's sitting there just like infatuated with him.
Yeah, I mean, you can go into many different things, but I like to think that's why she drank in that other timeline.
Yeah.
Just could not cope with the fact and realized.
Yeah, I guess she just felt sorry for him because her dad hit him. So that's how she fell for George. That's why he didn't care as much.
That's right, because eventually they go to eat, and then there's the scene of them having a TV, and it was like so-and-so has 2 TVs or something else like that.
He's like, do you have a TV? He's like, of course, I got 2 of them. He's like, wow, 2? You must be rich. Like, she's like, oh, he's just joking. Nobody has 2 TVs. And it's like, bitch, he does. Well, actually, they wouldn't know. I think maybe that around that time.
Well, I mean, you look at the prices of TVs now; it's insane. Like, I think it was $400 for like a 65-inch TV, is from what I saw, and that was like at Walmart.
Yeah,
I've been looking at computer monitors, and those go up to around 6, 7, and 8. Now, of course, it depends on the type of monitor and stuff. But anyway, yeah, I know there's that, and then I think.
But he sees a baby in a crib, and that's little Joey. That's Uncle Jailbird Joey.
Yeah,
that didn't get out of jail at the beginning of the movie,
and he's in prison. He's
better get used to these bars, kid. But yeah. So the her dad's working on TV, so they can watch it at the same time.
Yeah,
you know.
I know that there's that. And has he met the Doc yet in this?
No, it's literally after this. Because there's a lot of cool moments in this. Because he mentions, he's like, I've seen this episode. It's a classic.
How did you see it? It just came out tonight.
Yeah, he's like, I saw it on a rerun. And the kid's like, what's a rerun? Like, you'll find out. But they're also watching the same episode that George and Marty's brother were watching at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
but and he's like, do you know where this road is? And he's trying to find Doc, and they say, oh, it's over here. And then he says, no, that's next to John F. Kennedy Drive. And then the dad stops for a second, looks at him, and goes, who the hell is John F. Kennedy?
Yeah.
And he's like, her mom's like, Marty, do we know your parents? And he looks at Lorraine, he's like, I think you do. And then she's like, yeah, he like, don't mind him, he hit you with the car, and her dad was like, what the hell are you doing out in the middle of the street? But, and then this is the end of the scene where he's trying to find Doc. He's about to go, but her mom says, you should stay, you can stay the night. And then Lorraine goes, he can sleep in my room, and puts his hand on as soon as she does, he stands up, okay.
Yeah.
And he finally leaves, and she's just like, and she's like, her mom's like, what an odd boy. And Dad goes, if you ever have a kid like that, I'll disown you. But she's just so fascinated, like infatuated with him, like, damn, like, I don't know, it's a weird concept,
It's probably, if you're going to get into it, it's the whole mother-son thing, but she was taking it to a much deeper level.
There's a Family Guy joke that they did with that. I'll explain it later when the scene happens. But so he goes to find Doc. He knocks on the door. Doc comes out with that little. He goes, "Come here." He brings him in, and Marty's trying to explain everything to him, and he puts that little sticker thing on his head to try to read his thoughts and everything. And I just love how Marty just goes, "Doc." He just pulls it off his head, and he tells him, like, I came here in a time machine. You invented and all this stuff. He's like, oh, God, you know what this means? It means that this damn thing doesn't work at all. And he tries to kick Marty out of his house. He's like, good day. He kicks him out. And he tells him how he... I'm trying to remember whether he...
At some point,
time? Well, like, who was the president in 1985? He's like, Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, the actor, which is crazy because I always keep forgetting that.
Yeah, he's an actor.
That he was. I've never seen a movie.
I know there's him, and he proves it to him. I don't remember how. I think he showed him the piece of paper of like the schematics of how it worked. the like triangle formation it had or something.
No, he tells him he says, then I guess Jane Wyman is the first lady, and he's naming all these 1950s characters that he jokingly says that are politicians because he doesn't believe that Ronald Reagan was the president. And I think that happens either before or after, but he ends up getting Marty out of the house, and then Marty's like, I know, hey, you got that on your head. You told me the whole story. You hanging up a clock and you fell and hit your head on the toilet, and that's when you came up with the flux capacitor, which makes time travel possible. I love how Marty turns around and he's so distraught, but then Doc kind of opens the door like, are you serious? And then he ended up, telling him about everything.
It goes from like a man, like his, like in the other one, it was a barn. But when it was in when it was in the Burger King parking lot, but he's like in a mansion.
Yeah, something happened to it during that.
Yeah,
in their timeline, I don't know what happened, but and then Marty, I think, brings him to the car because he has it hidden, and he opens the thing and he sees all the things, the time things that he types in, and then he turns around and points the flashlight at the flux capacitor. He's like, there it is, and Doc holds the drawing that he made of it that day, and he's like,
oh shit, it actually.
So he gets him back, and I guess he's trying to. What he tries to show him that he really is from '85 because he shows him his license and shows him a picture of his brother, him with his brother and sister, which that picture throughout the movie becomes relevant.
Yeah.
But this watch, I caught something that I've never caught before, and it was something that Doc said, and I didn't put it together literally until 2025 when he shows him the picture. His sister had a pink sweater on that said class of 1984. Marty's in the middle. And then his brother's on the side wearing like a red Mickey Mouse shirt, and he's waving. I never caught this before, but Doc says, that's a crappy Photoshop you did right there. They even cut off your brother's head. And I didn't realize in the picture his brother's head was gone because everything's starting to disappear.
Yeah, I actually didn't notice that. I noticed that, but again, this being my first time, I was like, the head is natural.
I did not notice. This is coming from someone who's seen the movie so many times.
Not true fan.
I catch it in the year 2025.
Take this now. This is mine.
Don't lose that. You can put it back, but don't lose it. But
you ain't getting it back.
Also, too,
you lost it with that shitty joke.
I wanted to. I guess. Well, I wrote something in my notes, but I guess we could talk about it whenever we get there. I
know he goes to. I know at some point he goes to. I think he's like, okay, we got to make sure you actually meet, like your mom and dad hook up, and it's like the only thing we can do is you need to go to school. And I keep seeing this. The bloopers thing of him talking like Cheech and Chong, like, hey man, like I keep seeing that scene pop up so much on YouTube.
When he's wearing the wife beater in the figures.
So much. It's like, oh, hey, it's Chica. And I don't even remember how it goes, but it's popped up so much. Like, good Lord.
Oh, another thing too is that like once he gets the car, he shows Doc the car, they go back to his house and he shows him the recordings, all the recordings that he was recording that night that he went back in time. This is in 1955. Did they even have those hookups?
I don't remember, actually.
I don't know how old that camera is. That has to be an 80s camera.
It might have been an 80s camera. It's hard to say because, again, that's kind of roughly, I think, like, you had TV starting to come out and stuff around that time. I think, it's really hard to say if they had those hookups or not. But it would be easier to come back from the 80s and go to the 50s and possibly have the hookups than vice versa.
But he shows them everything.
Maybe, I don't know. It would really work either way.
Then he gets to, he's like, he ran into his parents. He's like, you ran into your parents? Like, let me see the picture. And he grabs the picture, and his brother's more gone. Yeah. That's why I didn't notice that time when his head was gone. I thought his head was there because I was picturing I'm talking about it again, but I was picturing at the end of the movie when they all come back and his head like slightly leaned when he's waving at the thing.
Yeah.
I picture it every time at that scene that his head is there, but I didn't notice it until this watch that it wasn't.
Yeah.
But so Doc is going to try to help him get to the future because, like I said earlier, the that flyer that he got from the tower.
Yeah, they basically have to use the power of the lightning strike to get him back to the future. And
he's like, "We got to get you back to the future."
Yeah,
he's like, "Yeah, I can wait around here. It's no problem." And he's like, "Marty, you can't interact with everyone. Something could be consequential." And he goes, "I kind of ran into my parents." He goes, "Ran into your parents?" Like, let me see. And then that's when he shows him the picture.
And I know, like, again, he starts going through a whole like segment of different things to try to make his dad more macho and fall in love with his mom and stuff. And it seems like every step along the way, he's just failing. He's failing, and his mom falling more and more in love with her son,
just like,
and not in a normal way.
But I wanted to, we're at the school now, but I wanted to mention too, it's that shot of them walking to the school from the outside. How Marty walks around the bikes, but Doc cross over a bike. Like, why? You literally could have walked around right there.
It's just but, character.
They get there, and the scene where they're messing with Marty. I mean, with George.
Yeah.
Oh, ha ha! And they knock the books out of his head, and he turns around and gets mad, and he has that kick me sign on him. And then Doc goes, "Maybe you were adopted."
Yeah.
So he finally gets to George again, and he's trying to basically tell him that he needs to be with Lorraine, but not the reason why. But he goes over to her to try to tell her, but George is right beside him, and he kind of does that lean up thing like he's about to talk to her.
Yeah.
George does, but she totally walks past him. But whenever she shows up, when he shows up, she turns around and goes, "Oh, Calvin!" right next to the thing. Yeah. Like, God damn, she thirsty for him, man. God, like
real quick, I actually
balls. And we're back, and Jordan's not here. Where did he go? I don't know. So, we get to he tries. Hold on, I lost my train of thought.
You can't even think right without me sitting in a chair, being quiet, and letting you mostly talk.
He's my brain.
I'm not even saying anything because I'm trying to remember this movie. Because again, all I'm thinking about is the second one. I know, like, we just got done with him he goes, "Oh," and she's so thirsty for him. And I know there's like sequences of like, we got to get you basically back with her.
And he mentions the dance, that they fell in love with the dance. So he's trying to get George to do it. So they're in the cafeteria. He's trying to talk to George. He's a science fiction writer. He didn't know that, I guess.
Right.
He fell. I wouldn't say he failed at it, but he probably just like, he didn't want even Marty to read him because he didn't want to take any rejection. Well, so I think that was him kind of just.
It's that, like, you don't want something to kill your passion, even though, like, the only way you're going to get better is to have criticism. But it's just, some people might be like dicks instead of just naturally giving you criticism, just be rude. I know, like, there's the whole Martian thing where he shows up and there's something on the TV. Isn't it? It's the thing playing on the TV?
No, nothing's playing on the TV.
Maybe I know what I'm getting. But that's Gremlins, right? I think that's Gremlins. Anyway, go ahead.
He's trying to get him to talk to Lorraine, but he's like, I think she'd rather go somewhere else. And he points at Biff, and Biff is there like rubbing on her and stuff. Like, you want it, and I know you want me to give it to you.
Yeah, that was.
So slaps the shit out of him. So Marty goes to try to hit him. And it's that thing where he stands up and he like peeks over his shoulder, like.
Yeah.
And then they're about to get in a fight, and then the principal stops them. And then George leaves again, and then Marty's trying to run after him, and he's like, I don't want to go to Lorraine, and not you or anyone else from this planet is going to stop me. So that's where we get to it, because his science writing set it up, because he's a super nerd.
Yeah.
So he thinks of a way to try to get him, and he puts on that hazmat suit, and he puts the earphones on him, and he puts in a tape. The tape says Edward Van Halen. It's supposed to be Van Halen, but they didn't have the rights to the band, to play a song. So what they got was Eddie Van Halen and the bassist and the drummer, and they got together and just wrote a few short riffs for like Eddie playing the shredding on the guitar and everything. And he had it on him or something.
It was acting like he was a Martian.
Yeah, my name is Darth Vader. I'm from the planet Vulcan. And then he cuts to him, and he's waiting for George. And he's like, George, where you been? He's like, I overslept. I always thought that was interesting. Like, I guess I thought that he just didn't want to come in.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently there was a deleted scene where he wanted George to think that something happened to where the aliens convinced him. He had chloroform in the car, and he put chloroform on a rag and made him pass out. That's why he said. That's why when he comes back, he says he overslept.
Yeah.
So he's telling them that you need to give Lorraine everything. Yeah. He's like, if I don't get with her, Darth Vader's going to melt my brain, and everyone's kind of staring at him.
Yeah.
He's like, let's leave that stuff to us. Oh, sure. So he tells him Lorraine's in the diner. You go in there and do that. Okay. So he tells him, like, Jesus, George is wild. He's like, I wonder why I was ever born. I was even born. He's like, what? He's like, nothing. So he tells him destiny, brought you two together. And he gets in the diner, goes to do that. He's like, I'm your density. She goes, what? I'm your destiny. And at this time, Marty's sitting at the counter. Fucking Biff walks in with his friends, which I didn't realize that one of his friends was Billy Zane, the actor Billy Zane.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to get to the scene. This video's going on a little bit, but I want to explain this part. People still don't know to this day. So whenever Biff walks in, Marty trips him.
Mm-hmm.
And he sees again, that he's bigger than him. So he's like, Biff, what's that? And it cuts to Marty doing this, and he does this, and then it cuts to the fist hitting Biff. I didn't know if you knew this story, but originally, of course, Michael J. Fox, they wanted Michael J. Fox for this role.
Yeah, I know there was that.
At the same time, he was filming that show that was really popular with him in it, Family Ties. They couldn't get him, so they looked at some other actors. They ended up hiring someone, Eric Stoltz. Do you know this story?
You told me a little bit about it, but go ahead.
Eric Stoltz, he was...
It's not like nobody liked him either.
In a movie that came out the same year, Mask. Do you remember that movie Mask with that kid with the weird face, the long red hair, Rocky Dennis? He plays that character. He was also in Anaconda. He was the guy that gets the bug caught in the throat and they had to cut it open.
Oh, I didn't realize
That's that. Eric Stoltz. He was cast as Marty McFly. They filmed for about 6 weeks with him. They had 40% of the movie done. And every time they were getting on with it, they kept thinking more and more, like, dude, he's just not working out. Like, he took the role more serious, apparently. And he was also like a Crispin Glover, but not as weird, but he was like...
It's supposed to be a campy comedy movie, and he's like...
way too serious. I've seen some clips of him with it. It doesn't match what the movie is now, of course. And it's like, it's weird, because the movie it didn't fit the tone. So they were basically like, they were like, we got to let this guy go. And the company, I forgot what company that was, the distributor, said if they could find someone quick, they will let them shoot the movie all over again.
So they got lucky.
They ended up getting him. I can't remember exactly how, but he had to film Back to the Future on certain days, and then he would fly back across the United States to wherever they were filming Family Ties.
Oh.
So Eric Stoltz was Marty McFly for most of the movie until they decided to change it. And I say that because there's an urban legend to where they cut everything with Eric Stoltz out. However, they say that fist that comes up and punches Biff in the diner is supposedly his. But it's kind of like one of those urban legends.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Hanging Munchkin and everything in Wizard of Oz, which that wasn't true. So he hits him.
I believe it's true.
Huh?
I believe it's true.
You believe it's true?
I believe it's true.
But
makes that movie more interesting.
Yeah, it does.
That and
kind of like the 3 Men and the Baby, the ghost in the window, which was just a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson in the movie.
Well, there's that, and what was it? I forgot about that too. But there's also, when I rewatched Wizard of Oz, I think it was the Scarecrow had a revolver. It's the Scarecrow or it's the Tin Man. I think it's the Scarecrow has a fucking revolver. And I thought, he's ready for this fight.
Holy shit, I have to watch that movie.
Well, look, after this, and everybody can go look it up, it's one of those two. But it was like, someone... I think it's the Scarecrow, which just makes it funnier. Because Tin Man, you'd be like, well, he has an axe. But the Scarecrow had a fucking revolver. And I'm like, oh. So, yeah, if anybody actually is, listening, go look at that part. Because it's hilarious. And when you naturally are watching the movie and see that, you're like, what the fuck?
We talk about Wizard of Oz, right?
Wizard of Oz.
That movie also had some fucking trouble and shit.
That movie's hilarious with all the people they had to hire, all the small people. Apparently, they were like, they'd get drunk in hotels and just thrash the hotels. Yep. We'll talk about that another time.
Real quick, though, that scene in the movie where they're in that flower field and the snow's coming down.
Yeah, that's asbestos.
Asbestos. Which we didn't realize later on in life that it's cancer causing. Oh, and the Tin Man, the paint that they used for him, that...
It was worse for the lady, I think. The Wicked Witch, with her with the green. It was worse for her.
Oh, quick story about that, too. No, we'll talk about
that later. Talk about that later.
But so where were we? So
the fist getting chase, punched. Yeah,
the chase happens, which is a really cool chase. Did they have skateboards in the 50s? Because they had that little thing that
I don't think so. Kid and ripped it off. That was a board that was just like a box of some kind of head wheels. And he ripped it off. It was like skateboard, and like the kid was like, "Oh, So
and then
it was supposed to be that whole thing of like trend setting, like, "Oh, this is neat," And a kid makes a skateboard and gets
they go around. He's running into people, and then they chase. He eventually gets in front of Biff's car. Biff is trying to literally murder this dude.
Yeah,
and it's like. Biff is a bully, but at the same time, it's like he went so far, and we'll talk about more stuff he goes forward later on. But like he's literally planning on murdering this dude, and he cuts across his truck, and then he crashes into a manure truck, which is a running gag throughout this whole series too. And he gives the kid his board back.
It's that same. Is that not a running joke where it's like in every film where he gives something back to him? It's like, oh, I'd be popular then, or this, or this. I know in this one it was with like that, and
I think so.
It was that, and then the music at the end. Like almost do like that.
But they kept cutting back and forth to also Lorraine. She's like, he's a dreamboat and all this stuff, and then finally it's like. Who is he? And then she's like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out. So he gets back to Doc's place, and Doc is watching the tape back, like the last thing that he recorded, when he's like, I don't know how, but they found me, run. He keeps rewinding it. He keeps trying to tell Doc about what happened, but he doesn't want to hear anything about it because he doesn't want to ruin the future. And it's like, the only thing he was literally wanting to tell him is like, that night, those people shoot you. If you can do something to prepare yourself, like wear a bulletproof vest.
Well, it's also the concept. You can also argue if it would just naturally happen.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you told me, and I had a bulletproof vest, but they had a bigger caliber.
But
anyway, the night of the prom.
No, what I wanted to mention too is that he shows him the model that he made to show what they're going to do. Hit the thing, and it's going to run.
Right.
But he goes, pardon me for the prudity or whatever of this model. I didn't have time to paint it or put it as to scale. And Marty was like, oh, Doc, it's just fine. It's like, it's already great. You know? But he shows him, he hits the thing, the car catches on fire, and it lights something else on fire. He goes to put it out. And then you find out that Lorraine followed him there.
Yeah.
And we're going to skip over a couple things that happen right here, but she's talking to him so sexually and inviting him to the thing. But they cover up the car. But I love how she is telling Marty all this, and Doc and her and him know that that's his mom.
Yeah.
But Doc just kind of puts his arms on the hood, kind of just listening, like, oh my God. So he finally gets to George. He invites her to they're going to go to the prom. So he follows George. He gives to George, and he's trying to explain to him how to do it. They're going to show up. He's going to get handsy, and George is going to come out at a certain time.
Yeah, and just basically be the hero.
And he tells him, "You're lying, George." He's like, "Oh, hey, you, get your damn hands off her." You think I should swear? Yes, George. God damn it, just swear. But this was also a scene too where he was kind of. Remember, I was telling you he was walking back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
They left that in, but they didn't want him to do that all the time because they were trying to get him to stand still.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was just back and forth because he wouldn't.
So they just kind of like kept moving the camera.
And he would also say stuff like, "I don't think George McFly would do that." And Robert Zemeckis said, "Yes, George McFly is going to do it. He's going to do what I say."
Yeah.
So, they set it up, and he's getting ready for the prom. And Marty writes Doc the letter.
Yeah, that's right.
Tell him about it.
And he ripped it up, didn't he?
That's later. But he puts it in his pocket. And he's getting everything set up.
Right.
He's getting everything set up. And he finally goes to meet Lorraine and bring her. George is waiting at the thing, doing some dumb little dance. He's almost doing almost like a dance that he does in Friday the 13th Part 4. Whenever they was, I think I showed you.
We watched it, but I don't remember.
He was doing this weird dance. They were supposed to be dancing to one song, like popular.
But they couldn't do it.
So he was doing that dumb little dance that he was doing. It's almost like, a year later he does the same thing. So that movie came out in 84, 85. Yeah. So he's sitting there waiting. They pull up, and he's trying to get everything ready, Marty, but he finds out that Lorraine drinks and smokes. Kept trying to tell her not to do it. I swiped this from my old lady's liquor cabinet, and he's like, "I don't think you should do that because it may ruin your looks or something." But there's a funny blooper to where the scene where he takes a swig and she's got the cigarette. When he spits out, he's like, "Jesus, you smoke too?" It was supposed to be water. Someone slipped real alcohol in it, and he really spits it out, and everyone starts to laugh. It's like a big blooper. He has like a smile on his face. I can't remember if it was wine or something, but yeah, they switched out his drink. So they're getting out there, and it's Marvin Berry and the Starlighters is the band that's playing Earth. Earth Angel, but that little song that they're playing before. And they decided to go take a break, but and then Lorraine is talking to Marty. All of a sudden, she kisses him.
Yeah, but she's like, "This is like kissing my brother."
Yeah, and he's like sitting there, and it's crazy. Like, the Family Guy made fun of this, and something happened, and he goes, "Well, if I ain't getting back, I might as well bang my mom."
Yeah, that was terrible.
It cuts to Marty, like
how he looks in the picture.
Yeah. To be included, or something like that. I showed you that clip, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. He's like, "I'm in a picture."
That's what he says. "I'm in a picture."
He was so fucked up. It was like, oh.
But he says to be something, but it was supposed to be to be continued, but he messed it up. I forgot what word he used, but it was funny. But
I think it was like to be contended or whatever.
To be contended. So So she stops kissing him, and then she tells him, "It's like kissing my brother." So the door opens.
And it's fucking Biff.
Oh, and it is Biff. Okay, it's crazy because the look on Marty's face, like he kind of knew what was going to happen.
And he turns around like he's going to say something.
Oh shit!
Yeah. I was like, oh, this is going to get worse than what we actually planned.
So Biff gets into the car with Lorraine, okay? And they put Marty, Biff's goons put Marty in the trunk of the band of the dance.
Now,
and then they call him a outdated racial slur.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like the whole band comes out like, what?
Like, well, you're reefer addicts. They call them reefer addicts because that's when they thought marijuana was the worst thing. But
I know. So doesn't because like he shows up, his dad shows up and opens the door. Didn't Biff have a weapon?
No,
he didn't.
No,
I know he tells him to walk away, McFly.
No, he doesn't have a weapon.
I feel like he had a weapon. Maybe I'm just stuck on the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I think you are.
That still is crazy.
What's funny is too is when they try to get Marty out of the trunk, they're like, "Where's the keys?" He's like, "The keys are in here."
Yeah.
Like, pardon me, the keys are in the trunk with me. But okay, so here, this is something that I want to talk about. So, fuck, I'm stuck for a second. George goes up to the door. He opens it up. Hey, you, get your damn hands off. And as he's saying it, it's Biff turning around. And he goes, oh, God, like that. Yeah. But it makes me think, did this happen the night in the original timeline?
Yeah, is that what happened in the original?
So, because of the way Lorraine drinks and everything, did Biff sexually assault her? Like, probably for real,
Probably yes.
Like, that's crazy to think.
And she has to live with that fact of him being a pushover. And that's probably why the dad is just in his own world in peanut brittle. And it's his own peanut brittle world. And he's a pushover because literally this dude sexually assaulted his wife. And she's just having to live with the fact of like, I think that is sadly how it played out.
Yeah, so
but obviously they're not going to put that in the movie. They want it to be a comedy happy movie. So.
Yeah, but it's like, and another thing later, but we'll talk about that towards the end. But they're trying. So Biff's got his arm and he's going to break it, and he pushes Lorraine down like really hard, and that look that George gives.
Yeah,
he reaches his fist. He's reaching that fist back. He's building it up. Looks like that fist is about to come from 1945.
Instead of just, it's the
never made as he turns, in his life. He fucking punches him in the face and knocks him out. And I was like, yeah, go George. Finally, standing up for yourself. But also too, I always liked when he was it's Crispin Glover's line delivery too. It's when Biff tells him to just walk away, and George just goes, "No, Biff, you leave her alone."
Yeah, I didn't like that. I think it should have been like more aggressive.
Yeah, but it's Crispin Glover we're talking about.
I think it should have been more aggressive. Like, no, like I'm not. You leave her the fuck alone. Instead of just, no, Biff, you leave her alone. Like, dude, this woman's about to she is getting sexually assaulted, and she's about to get worse. You need to. Make a fucking I don't know. You could have fucking done more, but yeah. Doesn't he get out? Yeah.
Marty gets out of the trunk because one of the guys is trying to open it, Marvin, and he slices his hand open.
Right. Oh yeah, he can't play.
Marty pops out to try to go see it, and he catches the end of it. Biff laying there. George walks away, so I was like, yeah, he did it. So everything. He's like, y'all got to get in there and play music. He's like, man, it's canceled. His hand's ruined. He's like, come on. If they can't kiss, they can't fall in love, and I'll never exist. And they kind of look at him like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah,
but he's like, he can't play guitar unless you know someone to play guitar. And it cuts to Marty.
Yeah, Earth Angel. Just
yeah, and he's looking at the picture, and he's just about gone. And it shows Lorraine and George out there. She's like, don't you want to kiss me? He goes, yeah, but... It says something, but this fucking nerdy dude literally just cuts right in front of him, pushes him out of the way, scram it,
yeah,
fly.
yeah, that kind of got me. It's like,
what?
Fucking what? You just knocked out the bully, and then you know what? That shit happened even to that extent. Like, no, man.
And then
you should be on a fucking high horse.
He's looking at his hand, and it's disappearing. He can't play guitar, and they're looking at him like, "Are you okay, kid?"
Yeah.
And then finally, George gets up to him, pushes the guy out of the way, then grabs her head and he kisses her, and everything's all great. You think it's going to end here. The song ends, everything's cool, and Marty's got to go. And like, come on, man, we play one more? He's like, I don't know. He's like, come on, man, let's make something that really cooks.
Yeah. Follow my lead.
Okay. So he's like, this is a blues riff. Watch me for the changes and try to keep up. And then, of course, the iconic Johnny B. Good song. I love this scene.
That Johnny B. Good is such a fun thing to play on guitar too. That's a fun riff.
But whenever they're playing, everyone's enjoying themselves and everything. And okay, so and then all of a sudden it starts to go on a little longer.
Yeah, he's playing guitar solo.
He's playing it behind his back, scooting on the floor, kicking over speakers, and it's so funny how like one by one the musicians like stop.
Yeah, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
And then they're looking at him, and he's like, bends the wire, like, "Ew!" And he looks out in the crowd. Everyone's just kind of staring. Which we bring it up Family Guy again, but they made fun of this.
Yeah, they did.
Was in 1985. Peter had to go to.
Yeah,
and Brian had to go back, and he had to go, but the guy was wanting him to play music, just like he wanted him to play again. So he plays on a little keyboard and stuff. The Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, he's like, woo! He's doing that weird stuff with his voice. And then he looks out in the crowd.
I didn't like that at all.
There's no one saying anything, but this one guy goes, I didn't like that at all. But Marty says, guess you guys aren't ready for that one. But your kids are going to love it. Real quick, too. So as he's playing, the guy that cut his hand, he's calling someone on the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like, hey, Chuck, this is your cousin Marvin Berry. You know that new sound you've been looking for? Well, listen to this. And back in the day, I was like, what is he talking to? He's talking to Chuck Berry.
Yeah, Chuck Berry.
It's like, oh,
they did
Marvin Berry.
They did it. They did it in a way where it wasn't just like, hey, Chuck Berry. You know,
Marvin Berry and the Starlight or whatever I wrote.
It would make sense.
It was written down, but when he said this is your cousin Marvin Berry, that was the first time that name was mentioned. So that's why it kind of took a little bit.
Well, it makes sense because obviously back then, trying to call in the 50s, you'd be like, who is this? Like, you know, you can't see who is calling.
Your cousin Marvin Berry.
Marvin.
But Marty's trying to leave. He sees Lorraine and them and congratulates them and everything. He's like, yeah, I got to go. It's been educational.
Yeah.
And George's like, I'll never forget your advice and all this. You know, they shake hands. Everything's cool, but he goes, oh, one more thing. If you guys ever get together and have kids, and one of them, when he's 8-year-old, accidentally sets fire to the living room rug, go easy on him. And then they're like, all right. And he leaves. He's like, Marty, what an interesting name. And it's like, wouldn't it be weird as Marty's growing up? George is like, why does our son look like someone that we knew from 1955?
I always wondered that. Sure you didn't sleep with him?
Are you sure?
That could have started a whole
man.
Like, you did.
But so he gets to Doc, getting everything ready.
Yeah, they get to Doc, and they're at the clock tower and stuff, and that's where all the shenanigans happen.
So Doc finds the note, and he's like, "What is this?" Like, you'll find out in 30 years. No, I can't do it. So he rips it up, and he's trying to tell him, but things happen. The wire falls off the clock tower, so they have to get up there and do it again. There's also something here that I never noticed, something little, but it kind of had an impact to me, at least. Whenever Marty tells Doc about everything that happened, and he shows him the picture, like, everything's back to normal. My old man, he stood up to Biff. He never did that before. Doc's looking at the picture, everything's back to normal, but he goes, he never stood up to him ever? And he's like, no. And Doc goes, never mind. Because it's like
Yeah.
he's thinking like what would happen because since he
Yeah.
never did that. That was something I didn't notice.
Yeah,
until,
it's
like
like,
later
wait,
on.
Biff. But yeah, because like something might be different in this. It's like,
Yeah, but so he's trying to get him to the car, but Doc is up there, and Marty's trying to yell at him, "I have to tell you about your future," which is a funny scene because, like I said, Family Guy making fun of Back to the Future
Mhm.
again. When Stewie's up at the clock tower trying to do something, and he's yelling down at him, "Stewie, I have to tell you about your future." And he's like, "On the night you go back," and he goes, "Oh wait, Michael, we got to talk about your future." But
that's terrible.
yeah, so everything's going wrong, but Doc needs him to just go down
Yeah,
there,
just
and
just attempt to go. Like go. This is not going to happen.
and when Doc's hanging there, and that little plug falls just at the right moment, and catches on his pant leg, and but Marty's down there, and he's just upset that he tore up the note, so he's trying to start the car.
Then there was a lot of scenes of the car, like, yeah, it also doesn't work now.
Yeah, and he's just hitting it, and finally, but then Doc finally fixes it up there because a tree branch fell on it, and as he pulls it to plug it into here, it pulls out from there.
Yeah.
And he notices that, freaks out, so he puts a little wrap around the thing so it'll stay plugged, and he slides down.
Did he slide down with his hands, or he actually used like something to rope?
I think he used something.
I think he had something.
He had something because I don't think he would have done that with his hands.
That would have been terrible.
But yeah, so he plugs it in as he's doing it. The lightning hits exactly. Oh, by the way, they knew the time that it was going to do because the clock died the night it was hit. So that's how they could literally 10:04 exactly. So that's how they figured that out. And as soon as it hit, lightning comes. Doc plugs it at the right moment, and then Marty shoots off. And then Doc realizes everything going on, sees the fire trails, and everything's great. He looks up, and then it cuts to Marty showing back up, and he realizes it's 1985. Oh, before he did, too, he wanted to try to prevent Doc from getting killed, so he went back 10 minutes from the time that he was originally set, just to make sure he had enough time to get there.
Yeah, that's right.
But once he gets there, the car dies. So he has to run, and he jumps over a bum on a bench. And I wanted to mention that, too, because that bum, that actor, his name is George Buck Flowers. And apparently he plays
all the bums.
A bum in a lot of movies.
Yeah,
mostly John Carpenter.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
He was in They Live.
I've heard like, yeah, when someone plays a bum, that's who they go to, and they need a
Buck
bum.
Flowers. That's a fucking awesome name.
That's definitely a bum name.
I want to. That's a bum name.
That's definitely a fucking bum name.
But Marty gets there, and he shows up to the sign that says Lone Pine because the tree. Because Peabody couldn't plant another one. Old man Peabody at the beginning of the movie too. He goes, he had a dream about breeding pine trees. But so he shows up and sees Doc get killed. And then Marty screams, and it's the chase. But he gets to see from his end what happened to the thing. They ran into the thing, and it fell over, and I don't know if they died or not. But he runs down there, and he's all upset that Doc got shot. And then Doc all of a sudden sits up and looks at him. And he goes, "How?" And he shows him the note that he taped it all, everything. And then he said, "Hold on."
You go ahead and finish real quick. I'll be right
Okay.
back.
It's okay, people. It's me. So, yeah. He pulls out the note, and he realizes it's all taped up. And he's like, "What's all that stuff about not knowing your own future?" Doc says, "What the hell?" So, he, hold on. So, yeah, he shows him the letter, and everything's great. He brings Marty home, and he gonna go. Doc's gonna go to the future, and Marty says, "Look me up when you get there." Goes in the house. Doc drives off, and Marty goes to bed. And he wakes up. He comes in the living room, in the house, and he notices things have changed. He sees his brother and sister sitting at the table. They're all dressed in nice clothes. They did good for themselves because something changed in the following years after he got back, after the Biff incident in school. And George and Lorraine come in, and they took. Hold on, I'm losing my place. It's just me. Jordan will be back momentarily. Um, George George and Lorraine come in, and they both look great. They don't look like themselves from the original 1985. Lorraine looks better.
Sorry about that.
Oh, you good?
I got to hear the alarm go off. Huh?
I think I heard a little bit, but I wasn't paying attention. And Marty, they're talking about. So everything's basically changed. Lorraine now says that she likes Jennifer. When at the beginning of the movie, she says she didn't because she called the boy. And he's like, "Don't you have that plan to go to the lake?" Which he didn't think that his parents knew about it. And he goes, "Oh, I don't think that plan's going to go through. The car's wrecked." And kids start freaking out. When the hell did this happen? George goes, "I'm sure it's fine." And he opens the door. He's like, "Look, there's Biff putting on some wax right now." Yeah. He goes, "Now, Biff, you got it over there?" And he said, he's like, "You got a second coat on there?" He's like, "Just putting the second coat on now." He's like, "Now, Biff, don't con me." I love it when he goes, "You're right. You're right. Yeah. I'm just putting on the second coat right now." It's just the way he does it, kind of like, "You're right. You're right."
All it take was one good punch and it completely reset.
And he's like, "There, Biff, what a character." He closes the door, and then a few minutes later, or at just that moment, Biff comes in. He has a box. George wrote a book.
Yeah, it was a science fiction book.
And it was based on him and Lorraine meeting over a character. And the front of the book has Marty, but you can't tell that it's Marty in his hazmat suit. Yeah. That's what he described it as. Like, I forgot the whole thing for it. He was like, if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. So, and then Biff throws Marty keys. He's like, "I got the keys to your truck." He's like, "What are you talking about?"
And still my favorite truck.
Yeah, right. He opens the shed, and it's the same truck that he saw earlier in the movie. He had it. Yeah. So something changed in there a little bit. He was able to have it. Yeah. And then Jennifer comes up and asks for a ride, and as they're getting ready, Marty. No, wait. As he's sitting there, I wanted to talk about this real quick. He's talking to Jen, and he looks at the window. And his mom and dad are standing there, and they kind of turn. And it's like, do you think George knows? Like, about everything?
I think so.
Like,
I think so.
That was his son?
Yeah. It's kind of feel like it's a given.
But as they're about to kiss, Doc shows up in the DeLorean again.
If they did now, they literally see a fucking car take flight. So, yeah. I mean...
That has to do with the second movie. They didn't put it in the first movie because it begins it there. But there's a funny scene with Biff where he's like, "Is that a flying DeLorean?" But Doc tries to help them. He's like, "What's wrong, Doc?" He's like, "It's your kids, Marty. Something's got to be done about your kids." And he's like, "What's wrong with our kids? What happens to us in the future? Do we become assholes or something?" He's like, "It's your kids." So he's like, "What are you doing? Do you have enough plutonium?" And he goes, "We don't need plutonium. I changed it. So it's now a Mr. Fusion where you could take garbage and just turn it into fuel in the back." Right. And he gets in there. Yeah, he's like, "Something's got to be done about your kids." And he's like, Doc, you may back up a little bit. We don't have enough room to get to 88. Road to get to 88. Where we're going, we don't need roads. And then it shows that he modified it in the future to where the tires come up, and he flies with it. So he backs up and flies. Jom jom jom. The end. I said jom 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 because it's almost like the sound that it makes. A little bit. Does it?
Just a little bit.
Just a little, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's Back to the Future. And I already have a quick plot hole.
What's that?
Doc shows up immediately. Something's got to be done about your kids. They got a time machine.
Yeah.
They literally have all the time in the world to do that.
How does Doc know about his kids, though?
Because he went into the future and he saw what happened. And then that's why in the second movie he brings them to help him. And then it causes a catastrophe.
Yeah, they literally do have a time machine.
So, yeah, this is one of the coolest movies ever made.
It really is very... Man, and for like... This is something that would have been neat to see. I know we had the opportunity to try to see it in theaters this year, but to actually see it first released, realizing you're actually watching a blockbuster movie for the first time.
But yeah, this is.
Where would you rank? Well, I guess we will.
We'll rank them when we watch them.
Yeah, I mean, for me though, this is pretty much a perfect movie.
Yeah,
like
I say a plot hole at the end. Now, I want to talk about
like this is probably a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
10 out of 10. It's the characters are cool. Marty McFly is one of the coolest movie characters of all time.
A damn cartoon spinoff.
Yeah, a lot of movies from the 80s, even like something like RoboCop and.
Well, you know what I'm talking about, right? Rick and Morty.
Oh, that, yeah.
That one, I mean, that became its own popular. But like,
they had a video game too.
But to me, it makes me think like, unless I'm mistaken, that's who I believe those two characters were based off of.
Yeah. Okay, so they said that they wouldn't remake this movie. They shouldn't. However, I've seen people. This was my idea because watching these two actors in several movies together, the same characters. I don't want to see a remake, but if they did, but I think they already passed it because they're a little older now. I don't think it would work. But the only actors that I could see as these characters is Tom Holland as Marty McFly, but years younger. Tom Holland, Spider-Man, and Robert Downey Jr. as Doc Brown.
I don't agree with
you. You don't agree with that?
That sounds terrible. That's only in your head because the Spider-Man Marvel brain set.
Well, yeah, Spider-Man and Iron Man. I don't know what it is, but when I see those two together,
I would watch it. It would just be here is Iron Man and Spider-Man in a Back to the Future set. That's exactly what I would say.
However, though, I really wouldn't want them to remake it.
I don't want to remake it. I feel like if they're going to make any kind of movie, I'd rather them make a continuation with all the original characters, as old and as many problems as they have. I know Michael J. Fox has the Parkinson's, but I mean, I would much rather that than watching with new characters. Like, I don't think it should ever be made.
No.
Like how I felt about The Thing, and then they make the fucking Thing 2, and
well, it was a prequel.
I know it was a prequel. It doesn't mean it still sucked ass.
Yeah. I don't hate that movie as I think I even mentioned it in our Thing review. I don't hate that movie as much as other people do. But I think, honestly, the movie is 100% unnecessary.
It's unnecessary, and I hate when you leave stuff as a mystery, and then your next movie you want to answer all those mysteries. I don't like that. I like openness to it. You know, that adds to, in my opinion, because it gets me to think about and talk about the movie more.
Yeah,
it'd be like, what is it, the movie Inception? If they came out with another one, it's like, oh, it actually fell over. You'd be like, well, that kind of ruins the whole build-up and that cutoff of the, you know?
Yeah. Spoiler alert. No, I'm joking. It's fine.
Unless they haven't seen it, they know what the fuck I'm talking about.
That is a good movie. I need to rewatch that. But
it's a long movie.
Yeah.
But maybe for another time.
Yes.
The last time we actually will be in a video.
Oh man, this was a long time coming this year. I'm just glad we finally got a chance because I've been wanting to do this in the year 2025 to make it a 40 year. Yeah, this movie's 40 years old. Came out, I think, in July 3rd of 1985. I want to say. And this movie it's so fun. It's so good. 10 out of 10, 100%. I don't care what anybody says. And yes, we don't need a remake. I would like to see Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland do it, but all right.